Hello, good afternoon. My name is Giselle Soto, and today I will be talking about life in Mexico. On March 28, 2023, my family and I decided to go to Mexico to visit both my grandpas, my aunts, my uncles, and visit my grandma's grave. I remember on that day we arrived at around 11 p.m. As my family and I arrived at my grandpa's house, his name was Lalo. There was a huge gate so robbers won't get in or unknown people won't get in his house. This is the room that we all slept in. We each had our own bed, which was a good thing. Unfortunately, on that night, there was a huge spider, so I had trouble sleeping in the night. I was scared that it was going to bite me in my sleep. The next morning, I woke up with a beautiful sunrise, and I was just excited for my next adventure. My family and I decided to eat some breakfast, and we decided to go to Tlacuitapa, which is a small town next to where my grandpa lives. It's about 20 minutes away. I saw the buildings, and pretty much all the buildings look like they're about to fall apart, and they all look very old. But the only thing that matters is that people are happy and they have the resources that they need to live. My family and I were pretty much just roaming around before eating some breakfast, and we were asking around if anybody knows a good place to eat some really good tacos, because that's what we were craving. We decided to stop by at the little garden. Every town in Mexico has a little garden, which was gorgeous. This is the place that the people recommended us to eat. It's called Chencho's Tacos, and there was 4 different types of meat that you can choose from. You can choose if you want everything with your tacos, or you can just choose plain tacos, and they were extremely delicious, and I wish I could go back and have some more. I ended up getting 2 de chorizo and 2 de bistec, and they were extremely delicious. I got 4 because I was so hungry because I did not eat last night. As my family and I finished our tacos, we decided to go back to my grandpa's house. He has a dog, but she unfortunately did not have a name, so I decided to name her Estrella, which means star in English. She's extremely sweet. After I was done playing with Estrella, I decided to stay outside with her until the sunset, and it was very beautiful, and I couldn't stop admiring it. I was also admiring how beautiful my grandpa's house is. It's very big and has a lot of space, but unfortunately I had to go to sleep. The very next day, my family and I decided to visit my grandma's grave, but it was very hard to find her grave because, as you can see here, other people's graves are pretty much scattered around and they're all bunched up with very tight spaces, so it was very hard to walk in between. My family and I have finally found my grandma's grave, and I was extremely happy that I got to say hello again. My grandma was the one that named me Giselle, and I only got to meet her when I was a baby because she unfortunately had passed away due to cancer. After visiting my grandma's grave, my family and I decided to go back to my grandpa's place. As we were heading back to my grandpa's place, I saw my mom's old elementary school. She said she used to walk it all the way over there. It's like a 30-minute walk from her home. She unfortunately only finished elementary school because she couldn't afford going to school anymore. She didn't have the money to buy the supplies for school. The very next day, my family and I decided to go visit where my dad is from. My dad is from this town called Lagos de Moreno, Jalisco. It was very pretty and it was much more bigger than where my mom is from. It was about a 40-minute car ride to get to where my dad is from. There are a lot of buildings, a lot of people, and a lot of tourists that go there. As I mentioned earlier, every town in Mexico has a garden, and this garden in Lagos de Moreno was much more bigger than the one we visited before. There was a lot of people sitting down and a lot of people and tourists walking around, and I was just excited to continue my adventure. After my family and I finished exploring Lagos de Moreno, we decided to visit my grandpa's house. His house is a small yellow one. And after that, we went to go eat at the seafood place, and it was extremely delicious. This is my mom and my dad. After we finished eating seafood, we decided to go back to my grandpa's place, and I got to see my dad's high school. He unfortunately did not finish all his high school years because he couldn't afford paying the school anymore. And then after that, for dinner, we went to this place. It's like a little inside market, and in that market, all they sell is food. We decided to stop by at this very known place on YouTube, and it's a taco place, and they also sell birria and other type of things, and quesadillas. They were extremely delicious, and I got a few. After we were done eating, we went back to my grandpa's place, and I got to see this dust tornado going crazy. That would be very unfortunate if I was near that thing because I am actually in fact allergic to dust, so I would probably get a heart attack. A week and a half passed by so fast. Pretty much the whole week we repeated the same routine over and over again. We ate food, visited family, and explored around. I was definitely going to miss this room, especially my new friends, the spider. As hours passed by, we unfortunately had to leave. We had to go to the airport at around 2 in the morning because the airplane was going to leave at 5 in the morning, and we were going to arrive at Chicago at 9 in the morning. We were waiting for my dad's friend to pick us up, and I was very overwhelmed. The good news is, we finally made it to the airport. We got there a little late, so we almost missed our flight. As the airplane took flight, my family and I decided to go to sleep since we did not sleep all night. 3 hours had passed by, and the flight attendants had let everyone know that the airplane was now arriving at Midway Airport. I was extremely happy because I was finally going home, and at the same time, I felt sad knowing that I left family behind in Mexico, and I hope to see them soon. One thing that I learned was to be grateful of your surroundings and be grateful for what you have. Something that Mexico could improve on is providing programs for low-income students like they do in the US. It would definitely help more students get more education. During my time in Mexico, I definitely learned more about my culture and my family, and I hope to go to Mexico soon.